Okay guys, and here's the tail set. Looks like both sides to the tail gear. We got our tail main shaft and our gear there. Servo mount. And then this is our, oh, that's actually really nice. I like that. That's our bell crank for our tail, our belt. And this should be the rotor. Oh, this is our tail rotor right here. So we'll need to go through and Loctite all this stuff. We'll need to take apart the feathering shaft, Loctite it just like what we did with the head. So let's take a little bit of Loctite and just put it down right here. That way we can just dip our screw right into it. We'll start with this. There's only 2 of them on here. These are weird. So they go through like that. So I have to put some Loctite on here. And then I guess you pull them through. And then you go reverse with the bolt with it. Okay, we don't have any more that take a 1.5. So on these ones, guys, because bearings are involved, I'm actually going to put the Loctite into here. So we'll go like that, and then we'll just kind of give it a little bit of a wipe. There's still plenty of Loctite in there. And then we'll actually slide it back on here. Yeah. Alright guys, we want to go ahead and get this screw out of here so that we can mess with the feathering shaft. This feathering shaft, you actually have something that you can grab onto, so you can do it one side at a time. I like to put the Loctite in here, guys. Again, make sure and do this, because if you put it on your screw and then you run your screw through these thrust bearings, especially bearings, I already don't like doing it too, but thrust bearings especially, this stuff will seep into the thrust bearings and it will lock them up. Again, we'll pull it off of here, put the Loctite down into here. Put the blade grip back on. Gently, so that you don't just push all the bearings out. And then we'll take our bolt. And you do want to torque these pretty good, guys. You want to make sure that they're plenty torqued, Loctited and torqued. Personally, this particular grub screw that you have on helicopters, I like to go ahead and just get the Loctite setting already. That way it's kind of going to get double Loctited. We did forget to do this one. So these three pieces are completely done. Set those aside. So all these are done now. You had 3 screws on each. Huh. I like how that looks. That's nice. I'm just assuming that this is how this goes. I do not have a manual whatsoever. I've built a lot of helis. I've never built an OXY. I kind of wanted to just see how it goes. So there was a pin for the shaft, and then there's this little collar, because that's definitely not going to go onto a bearing. So that's going to hit your bearing. So I just noticed for that pin that's sitting inside there, there's actually a grub screw. So I did have to look this up, guys. It looks like they already glue these end pieces on for you and put it in, but they do tell you that your linkages have to be from right here to the bottom of this plastic. Has to be 31 millimeters. Not much more. Okay, looks like neither one of these are reverse threaded, just so you know. They both go on normal. All right, so we got both of those set at 31. All right, guys, so we take this piece of tail gear, actually dismount the bell crank, and then we put this just like this. And we only put the bottom screw in right now, because the top screw is actually going to have the pulley with it. Now we can actually dismount these. We need our belt. I do not know what that 3D printed piece is. It seems to be made out of TPU. So we want to wrap the belt around it like that. All right, and we want to shove the belt through the boom. So on the right side of the boom is where we want to mount this. Just like this. Now we want to pull our belt through just a little bit here. And we want to take the tail shaft and gear, and we want to put it through just like that. And then we want to grab this piece. And then now we can go ahead and add our pulley into the system. All right, that's how it will actually sit with the belt and the pulley. And now we're ready for the other side, the bigger side to the bearing housing. That actually goes inward. the pulley needs to be set in here, but you cannot install the bolt right away. So we'll actually start with that screw first, and that's the hole that it goes into. We'll go ahead and hit it with some Loctite. We can go ahead and do these two bolts and that one. Okay, it looks like we got the majority of the housing assembled. It looks like we should probably put this on first, like so. It has a little notch right there that will actually line up with this grub screw. And then this grub screw, I load it. All right, and again, because we don't want to screw up the bearings, we're going to put the Loctite down into the threads. Just give it a little bit of a wipe again so that it doesn't get into a bearing. And then this part always goes to the bottom, like that. And just set it on there like that. Get one of our screws in here. Go ahead and give these a final hand tighten. All right, guys, we went ahead and got our links snapped on. I did put some extra grease on this shaft because it seemed like it had a little bit of resistance. So now it's nice and smooth. So now they want us to go ahead and put the tail servo mount on here, and probably because you would have to either dismount this or dismount the tail from the vehicle, because this does not separate. It has to slip over the boom. It loosens, but it does not actually open up to where you can get it over the boom. You have to slide it onto it. And then we'll put it over the belt. And you put it on to where the word OXY is facing up, like that. Go ahead and get these Loctited and back down in here. And so apparently this piece, we go ahead and make sure that our belt is not twisted inside here. All right, so the belt needs to be like that. But again, if you turn the belt this way, right, pulling it from this side, it should make your tail go counterclockwise. And that's what it's doing. So now we can put this back in here. Pop this on here. And then we can pop this on here. I don't know if they have a A or a B. Looks like they do. That's it. We have all the hardware installed onto the tail. We got the belt in. We got everything built back here. It's all going in the right direction. So this is ready to be installed onto the heli. So the next video will actually be putting together the main frame, and then we'll actually be putting the head and main shaft in as well. All right, guys, stay tuned, as always.